is if your period is happening a certain week, you know you can't put anything there. You can't schedule anything there. Yeah, so it's been tough.
And did that judgment do anything to you, especially as because I'm looking at you as a child in the high school, you know, we were kids then, we were children.
Yeah.
And here is the world judging you for something that is beyond you, for something that you cannot control. Did it do anything to you?
Yeah, it does something to you mentally, because you know what you're feeling. You know what the kind of pain that you're dealing with. When you go to the sick bay and the nurse gives you a Panadol, it does nothing to you, yeah? So it affects you mentally. And as I was telling you, getting to a point where I am leaving employment without another job to go to just because of where I am at mentally. And I feel like that was the right thing for me to do then, because then I concentrated on my treatment, sought after doctors, got Dr. Yamal, got diagnosed. So it was somewhat a relief for me. There was some sort of validation. Although at the time I didn't even understand what endometriosis is. For me it was Fuchs, there is a name. There is a name to this thing that's been haunting me, you know. Yeah.
Okay, and I shall come back to you. But Doc, I want us to break down endometriosis, because there's someone, you know, who's watching us right now and probably doesn't even know what we're talking about.
True, true. So endometriosis, it's a condition that actually is associated with lots of, you know, issues around the female and general reproductive health. It's defined basically when you have the endometrium, which is the lining of the uterus, like cells growing outside the uterus. So it could be growing in the tubes, in the ovaries, behind the uterus, in the surrounding structures like the bowel, the bladder, and it goes as far as every other organ. There's been endometriosis found in the brain, the eyes, in the nose and ear, in the lungs. So it can go anywhere. It's a systemic disease. But more importantly, what is important to understand is it is chronic, it is debilitating over time, it's progressive. It has a bad issue with, therefore, mental issues and family issues. So you've heard, it has lots of implications on the even the psychological well-being of a girl and woman as she's growing up. There is a lot of misunderstanding around this disease, so it's often misdiagnosed or missed out as a diagnosis, unless you are seen by somebody who deals with this on a regular basis. Yes. So the main things that surround it is usually pain. And when I say pain, initially the pain might be around period times, and it could be pain with periods, it could be pain during sexual intercourse, with pain while passing urine, pain while passing stool. So it has pain-related issues. And then it can get pain during ovulation, and then chronic pain, the way she said. It becomes centralized. So when you get centralized pain, it's very difficult because now it's there throughout. Maybe with worsening around period time, but throughout. The second aspect that it deals with is reproductive, which means these women generally suffer from issues with fertility. So many of them may normalize pain, and that's what our society has been doing so far. That you're told by your sister, your friends, your mother, your aunties that, listen, stop being such a sissy, stop behaving like you're the only one who's having periods. We've been through this, and we had pain too. But then it's very different when you have endometriosis related pain. So we shouldn't normalize these symptoms. It's better to have it checked out, because if we pick up endometriosis early, and that's where education and this awareness comes in, we might be able to timely manage it. And if we timely manage it, we might be able to therefore control it better than someone in whom it's now involved all these structures, including the rectum, the bladder, infiltrates into the ureters. People lose their kidneys as well. Almost 11 to 15% of women with endometriosis have kidney loss. They go into kidney failure, and then, so it's really a devastating disease.
Right.
So that's second thing about fertility. And yes, there is always a solution out of it, but the sooner you pick it, the sooner you treat it, the better the outcomes.
Yeah.
And the third thing can be psychosocial. So these women have lots of psychosocial issues. Like we have cancer awareness and support groups, this is one of those few conditions where we've had support groups. Because these women really suffer, and I've had to deal with many with depression, and some with the extent of going to have suicidal tendencies because they just can't take it anymore. And I think that is something we shouldn't allow. So let's give these girls and women a chance to live like a normal woman. That's the whole idea of awareness, education about endometriosis, and proper treatment.
Right. And you've mentioned the diagnosis, you've mentioned management, you've mentioned fertility, and you've mentioned the treatment.